everyone, welcome back to Sadak, the Achievers. So all of you, today we'll be continuing our first chapter of chemistry, that is atomic structure. అవునా? సో ఈ అటామిక్ స్ట్రక్చర్ చాప్టర్లో ఈరోజు మనం 7th లెక్చర్ కంటిన్యూ చేస్తున్నాం. సో ఇప్పటివరకు ఇన్ దిస్ అటామిక్ స్ట్రక్చర్ చాప్టర్ we have discussed subatomic particles, అవునా, electrons, neutrons, protons, how we have discovered them, వాటి ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఏంటివి, రైట్, వాటి ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్ ఏంటివి, ఏ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్ వల్ల మనకి ఈ సబటామిక్ పార్టికల్స్ యొక్క ప్రాపర్టీస్ మనకు తెలిసాయి, అవన్నీ మనము ప్రీవియస్గా చూసాం. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ దాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ డిస్కస్ ది అటామిక్ మోడల్స్. అవునా, అటామిక్ మోడల్స్లో మనం చూసాం థామ్సన్ మోడల్, అవునా, Thomson model, what the properties ఏంటివి, what are the postulates of this model, right, and what are the drawbacks of that model, right. After that, what happened, whatever the drawbacks of this Thomson model were there, few of them was eliminated by the next model, that is Rutherford model. Rutherford's model, అవునా. So whatever the drawbacks are there, so this Rutherford model is somewhat, we say, very good in explaining the atomic structure, but it also had some drawbacks, and the drawbacks were also, right, in the further atomic model, that is by Bohr, he eliminated few of the drawbacks of this Rutherford model, right. So after that, what happened, this Bohr model also had some drawbacks, right, which could not give the exact reason for his postulates, as well as he could not give the సో మెనీ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ రిజల్ట్స్, ఏవైతే ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్ అప్పటి వరకు సైంటిస్ట్ చేశారో వాటి రిజల్ట్స్కి అతను ఇచ్చిన అటామిక్ మోడల్ ఆర్ అటామిక్ స్ట్రక్చర్కి పొంతన లేదనమాట. సో టు ఎలిమినేట్ దెమ్, రైట్, టు గివ్ ది clear clarity of each and every behavior of atoms or the molecules, we needed the best atomic model. So for that, what happened, two major scientific developments helped to give the formation of this quantum mechanical model, right. So that two scientific major developments that we can talk, right, that are the dual nature of matter, no, dual nature of matter, and second point into the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right. So ఈ two developments ఏం చేశాయి మనకి, they gave us a better understanding of the all the drawbacks, or we can say by using this we can eliminate all the drawbacks of these models, as well as we can give all the best results, or we say the best answers for the so many experimental results which were not answered by the previous scientists, right. So these two important scientific developments, about these we have discussed in the previous lecture. So ఎవరైతే previous lecture చూడలేదో, please go into the cards, you will be finding the links for the previous lecture, and complete that lecture so that you will easily understand this quantum mechanical model. So this model that we'll be discussing in today's lecture. Okay, so let us see that. So what is this quantum mechanical model? So if I can just start from the basic of this, that we know by the physics, right, the if we say the mechanics of physics, or the physical mechanics, right. So if I say the mechanical physics, that is by classical physics that we have discussed, we have learned, right, we say the physics or the mechanical physics by the Newton's laws of motions, Newton's laws of motion, right. So by using that, right, Newton's law of motion by the classical physics, we can describe so many different objects, or we say so many different particles, right. But those particles, or whatever the laws of motion that we are talking, that are made by the Newton, right, these are only applicable to the macro particles. Macro particles ante mana kanti kanipinche particles, like which are easily visible to our eyes, right. Those particles, like macro particles, can only give us macroscopic particles, are the matter, right. So that can only give us, means this Newton's laws of motion can only explain the macroscopic particles, right? For example, if I can talk about these macroscopic particles, examples like if you are throwing a ball, or if you are a stone, right? So falling ball, right? Falling stone, the how the stone is rotating, or what are the properties of that, how we can understand or analyze that falling stone, that will be helpful. Or by Newton's laws of motion we can explain this falling stone, or the rotation of the motion, right? Rotation motion, rotation of the planets, satellites, right? So macroscopic particles were only be able to explain by this Newton's laws of motion. But this Newton's laws of motion, or we say the mechanics or the classical mechanics of the physics, that could not explain the, right, that could not explain the microscopic particles, microscopic particles. సో ఈ పార్టికల్ మైక్రోస్కోపిక్ పార్టికల్స్ని ఈ మెకానికల్ ఫిజిక్స్ అనేది ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయలేకపోయింది. బట్ ఇట్ వాజ్ ఏబుల్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ దిస్ మ్యాక్రోస్కోపిక్ పార్టికల్స్ ఓన్లీ. ఎందుకు అంటే వై దిస్ మెకానిక్స్, ఆర్ వి సే ద క్లాసికల్ ఫిజిక్స్ వాజ్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ the properties or the behavior of these microscopic particles. So here we know that what are these microscopic particles. For example, if I can list out the microscopic particles here, those are the electrons that we have discussed, right? Or simply we can say the subatomic particles, right? So these electrons, protons, how these are behaving, or the properties of these subatomic particles could not be explained by this physics here. Why? Because we have seen reasons behind this, right? The uncertainty principles and the dual nature of these properties. So why these were not able to explain? Because we know that first reason is nothing but the dual nature. Avuna? Dual nature of matter or the particles. So we have discussed in the previous lecture, we have said that whatever the electrons that we are taking, if we consider these electrons as the particles or one matter, then how this dual nature of matter, right? That has to be that has to be considered in the laws of motion, but that could not give us these microscopic particles. That laws are not able to explain how these electrons having this dual nature of matter and how these are behaving. That was not able to explain by the classical physics. And second reason ఏంటిది, ఇందాక మనం డిస్కస్ చేసాం, హైజెన్బర్గ్స్ అన్సర్టెనిటీ ప్రిన్సిపల్. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Avuna? So two reasons, because of these two reasons we cannot say, or the classical physics is not able to explain the behavior of this microscopic particles. Avuna? So whatever the Newton laws that we have, that is only applicable to the macroscopic particles, but the microscopic particles needed the better laws, or we say the better scientifical reasons for their behaviors. For example, we can talk about these two, right? So these two natures, to explain these two important natures of these microscopic particles, that are example, if I take the electrons, that needed the better mechanics, or how mechanics is nothing but how we are trying to explain the motion of the particle. So here we are talking about the microscopic particles, right? For that, those microscopic particles are nothing but having the dual natures, as well as there is uncertainty on that. So to give, or we say the mechanics, right? The classical mechanics, we say that has to be with a different approach towards these particles. So that resulted, or we say that will be called as, or the science, or the part of the science which help us to explain these two, okay, which helps us to explain these two natures of these microscopic particles, is called as the quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics. So whatever the properties that we are able to explain these microscopic particles, is dealt or is will be explained by this quantum mechanics. So the another part of the mechanics, that is nothing but the quantum mechanics, which will be dealing with the microscopic particles. For example, if I can take electrons and the protons and also all the other microscopic particles. So this is about the quantum mechanics. So quantum mechanics, now we are able to understand what is quantum mechanics. Now let's see what is this quantum mechanics here. Okay, అసలు quantum mechanics అంటే ఏంటిది, what is its properties? So if I go into the basic, or we say the fundamental quantum mechanics, we say that this quantum mechanics is not the having any particular formulas like we have the laws of the Newton's laws of motion, right? But this quantum mechanics is nothing but the theoretical approach towards the, right, this quantum mechanics is a theoretical approach towards, right, microscopic particles. Okay, so this quantum mechanics is a theoretical approach towards the microscopic particles. So it don't have any, we say, the experimental results on this, but what has this quantum mechanics is dealing with, just now we have discussed the dual nature of the particle matter as well as the uncertainty principle, right? So whatever the theoretical approach that we are talking about here, right, that depending on that we were able to explain the dual nature of the matter. Now, dual nature, right, of matter, and what is that? Second one is the uncertainty principle. Right? So by these two approaches, or by to explain these two important observations, we approached, or in a theoretical process we have approached to this and formed this quantum mechanics. So here this quantum mechanics, right, is a theoretical approach, and we can say that whatever the quantum mechanics that we are talking, that can give us, or it is a, we say, the combined development, right, combined development by the two scientists, first one is in the year 1926, right? So two major developments which led to the formation of this quantum mechanics, or which includes into this quantum mechanics, is Heisenberg, and another is which explain the wave nature, dual nature of matter lo wave nature explain chestunnam, right? So that is nothing but the Schrodinger event, right? So whatever the two scientists that we are naming, that is Schrodinger and Heisenberg. So these two scientists individually, they have developed these two natures, right? This Schrodinger was able to explain the wave nature of the particle, or that is nothing but the matter, or we say that is electrons, if we can consider the electrons as the matter in this case, right? And this Heisenberg explained the uncertainty, right? Uncertainty in the location and, right, what is that, momentum, right, of the electrons, if you can say the electrons. So by these two scientists, right, by their experimental results and by their theories, we have said that there is a development, that is, or we say, another branch of the science, which is nothing but the quantum mechanics. Okay, so this quantum mechanics having the developments made by Schrodinger and the Heisenberg. Okay, so we can say that whatever the developments that we have made here, that is resulting us to form the quantum mechanical model. right? So this quantum mechanical model, right? So this quantum mechanical model is formed by the experiments, or the, we say, the rules made by the Schrodinger and the Heisenberg here. So whatever the particles that we are saying, wave nature of the matter or the uncertainty of the principle, they helped us to form this quantum mechanical model. So in this too, we have discussed already this Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and the properties of it, and how we are able to explain these properties, and how we are how can we use this uncertainty principle in solving the, or the, in finding the other properties of these electrons in an atom. Let us now see the Schrodinger. What is this? What is the involvement, or we say what are the discoveries made by this Schrodinger? So how this was able to explain the structure of an atom. So whatever the quantum mechanics that we have, that is helping us to form the best structure of an atom. So the Schrodinger equation, if we can say that whatever the dual nature that we had of the matter, so the Schrodinger equation is nothing but the, it is a wave function, right? It is a wave function. Means we can say that this is nothing but the Schrodinger equation is nothing but the, whatever the matter that we have, it acts as the wave, means it has the nature of wave nature, right? So the depending on that wave, whatever the wave nature that we have of that atom, that will give us the wave function. Means the property of the wave nature, if we can write in the form of a equation, or the function of the wave, will get this Schrodinger equation. Okay, so after the quantum mechanics, right? So in that we have seen the dual nature of the matter, that is nothing but the dual nature of electron, and we have seen the Schrodinger equation, which is helping us to give the wave nature, or to analyze the wave nature of the electrons. So this Schrodinger equation gives us the wave function. Okay, it is nothing but the wave function which is dealing on the wave nature of the electron. So this is nothing but the wave function of an electron or an molecule, right? Where the energy is not changing with respect to time. So this is function of the atom or the molecule, right? Where its energy is not changing, is not changing with respect to time, So depending on this, right, he formulated one equation. So that equation is nothing but the Schrodinger's equation. So for this equation, he has been awarded the Nobel Prize in physics, right, in the year 1933. Okay, so this equation nothing but the, we can say that that is a Schrodinger's wave equation, which is, we can call it as a wave function also, because it is dealing about the wave nature of the electron here. Okay, so what is that equation? So if I can write that equation here, that is dou square psi, okay, divided by dou x square plus dou square psi divided by dou y square plus dou square psi divided by dou z square plus 8 pi square m divided by h square into E minus V into psi equals to 0. So this is what the Schrodinger's equation, or Schrodinger's wave equation. Okay, so this equation can also be written in the form of h cap, okay, h cap into psi is equals to E into psi here. Okay, we can write in this form also. So here this h cap is nothing but, this h cap is called as the Hamiltonian wave function, or we say Hamiltonian operator. We call this as the Hamiltonian operator, or we can also call it as the total energy operator, total energy operator. Okay, so this is called as the Hamiltonian operator or the total energy operator. So what is this H value or the what is this operator value? So if we can write it here, H cap is nothing but the, okay, that is minus H square by 8 pi square m into dou square by dou x square plus dou square by dou y square plus dou square by dou z square into, right, plus v. So this is what the H cap value is. Okay, that is nothing but the Hamiltonian operator value. Okay, so this Hamiltonian operator value is nothing but the total energy operator. So which means it includes the total energy of this atom, which includes the total energy of this atom. So what is the total energy? So before that, if you can look at this equation here, okay, so in this equation we can say that whatever this psi that we have, this psi is nothing but the wave function. This psi is nothing but the wave function, okay, and whatever this E that we have, that is nothing but the energy level, or we say the energy of the atom. Energy of the atom at the particular distance from this. So what is this total energy? This total energy consists of the all the energy of that atom. So what are the energies that we can see in the atom? That is nothing but the kinetic energy, okay, kinetic energy of the electrons, okay, and plus the potential energy possessed by the electrons and the nucleus, which means the potential energy, or we say the potential energy of two kinds that we can see in this atom, that is nothing but the attractive potential between the nucleus and the electrons, and the repulsive forces are nothing but the repulsive potential between the nucleus and the electron. So we say that kinetic energy of electron plus the attractive potential between nucleus and electrons, right, and repulsive, right, repulsive potential between nucleus as well as the nucleus and the electrons. So which are electrons are rotating around the nucleus, right, between them we have this energy. So sum of all these three energies, we are getting this total energy. So whatever the equation that we have for these energies, right, so sum of all the equations, total energy equations here we can say, right. So from that total energy equation, that is what we have said, that atom and molecule, its energy is not changing with respect to time. Depending on that, we are forming a wave function that is nothing but the Schrodinger's equation. So this Schrodinger equation is depending, or we say for the quantum mechanics, in that this Schrodinger equation is giving us the wave function, or we say with respect to wave nature of the atom that we are getting the equation. So this Schrodinger equation is giving us the we say the quantum mechanics with respect to the wave nature of the electrons. Wave nature of electrons. So this is what the Schrodinger's equation. Okay, so this is here Hamiltonian operator, okay, and these are the wave function and this energy levels here. So how this Schrodinger equation will be applicable for the hydrogen atom? So let us see. So just now I have said that this psi and this E. Avuna? Psi entivi, E entivi. E is nothing but the, E is our energy of electrons right, which are revolving around the nucleus. Avuna? And the psi is what? The wave nature or the wave function. Right. So this energy of the electrons and the wave function, or we say the wave function of this atom that we are able to find out here. So this energy of this electron has a quantized, or we say the fixed value, or we say it has a one specific value depending on at what point of time that you are applying that equation, and at which place that you are applying that equation, from the nucleus to which distance, to how much distance that you are applying. Depending on that, you will be getting the energy of the electrons, as well as you will be getting the wave function. Means what is that wave function of that electron depending on the nucleus or the nucleons that we have. So we already know that energy of these electrons will be dependent on the nucleus. అవునా? సో న్యూక్లియస్లో ఎంత ఛార్జ్ అయితే ఉందో దాని మీద డిపెండ్ అయ్యి మనకి ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో హౌ దీస్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఆర్ రివాల్వింగ్, రైట్? what is this energies of these electrons? That is nothing but that energy of these electrons that will be explained by the energy levels. Energy levels means simply there are electrons. So this is our nucleus. So these are the electrons that we are supposing that electrons are rotating in this fashion. So ikkada energy anedi, right, whatever the electrons are having this energy, or the electrons మన ఎనర్జీ ఎక్కడి నుంచి అయితే మనం కనుగొన్నామో బై యూజింగ్ ద ష్రోడింజర్ ఈక్వేషన్, అక్కడ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఆర్ ది ఎనర్జీ ఏ రేంజ్లో ఉంది, వాట్ ఈస్ ద వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఎనర్జీ, ఆర్ వాట్ యూ సే వాట్ ఈస్ ద క్వాంటైజ్డ్ వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఎనర్జీ, డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ that. So if you start from the nucleus, so this is our nucleus here, and if you start from the nucleus and you are following or you are moving away from the nucleus నుంచి మనం దూరంగా వెళ్తున్నా కొద్ది ఏమవుతుంది, there will be a change in the energy. Okay, there will be some change in the energy. So at what point of the distance, or at what point and at particular point of the time, what is the energy? That energy can be found by this equation, that is Schrodinger equation. So ikkada manaku energy ఉంటుంది some point of time, at some point of place, right? After that, again, if you further follow this some distance from the away from the nucleus, you will get another value of the energy. అవునా? అండ్ ఇంకా కొద్ది దూరం వెళ్ళినా కొద్ది మనకి ఏమవుతుంది, ద ఎనర్జీ అనేది ఆ ఆటంలో ఉన్న ఎనర్జీ అనేది ఇంకా కొంచెం వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది కదా. సో these energies levels, at what point of time or at what place the energy has. So we know that energy will be increasing here. So the energy from nucleus, and if you just travel to the outwards or the away from the nucleus, the energy will be, there will be some change in the energy. So we are calling it as the energy levels. We are calling it as the energy levels. So these energy levels that we are able to find out by using this Schrodinger equation. So we are applying the at what point of time, and we are saying that with respect to time, the energy is not changing in total atom, but in that atom also we can find different energies if we are moving away from the nucleus. So these energy levels that we can be able to find out in this by using this Schrodinger equation. Avuna? So this wave function also helping us to give that value. Avuna? So energy of this energy of these electrons, or we are saying the atom, is having a certain value. It is having a specific value that we are finding, right, by this value E from the equation. So E kanukunnam ante entidi, energy of the electrons that we have found, and wave function also we have found, means psi value that will give. So here this E is giving us the energy, avuna, and this psi is giving us the, what is that, wave function. Wave function means what, at what is the direction or how the electrons are rotating, or the movement of the electrons, if you can take movement of electrons. అవునా? ఇది మనం by using this Schrodinger equation that we can found. So ఇందాక చూసాం కదా ఎనర్జీ, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఎనర్జీ లెవెల్స్ దట్ వీఆర్ టాకింగ్, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఎనర్జీ లెవెల్స్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ ది, right, these energy levels are nothing but the energy of the electrons, avuna, energy of the electrons, right? And whatever the wave function that we have, right, the wave nature of this atoms or the electrons that we have, that is psi value that is giving us, right? So that wave nature, right, right? So these two, energy of the electrons are nothing but the energy levels that we are saying, and the momentum of electrons nothing but the psi wave nature. So to explain these two, or we say to give the characteristic values of these two, we are using the quantum numbers. We are using the quantum numbers to quantize the values, or to give the specific values of these atoms or the molecules, what is the energy of the electrons or the energy levels and the wave natures or the wave functions. We are using the quantum numbers, right? We are using the quantum numbers. So what are the quantum numbers? So the quantum numbers which are helpful to characterize of these specific values of these atoms, those are nothing but the three major quantum numbers that we can say for the help to describe this hydrogen atom. That are the principal quantum number, right? And second one is nothing but the azimuthal quantum number, right? And third one that we have is magnetic quantum number, So these three quantum numbers are helpful for the characterizing the atom of hydrogen atom. Okay, so this principal quantum number is indicated, or we use the word n, and for azimuthal we are using the L, and for magnetic quantum number we are using the ML, right? So these are the quantum numbers that we can say that which are helpful for the characterization of this hydrogen atom. So whatever the energy that we are saying, energy levels, and the we say the wave property of that atom that we are able to explain by using these quantum numbers, right? So we know the wave function psi, right? So whatever the electrons that we are saying, when just now I explained that from the nucleus, if you are moving towards or outwards the nucleus, what you are saying, you are able to find out the number of electrons present in that atom, right? So ఆ atom యొక్క ప్రాపర్టీస్ అనేవి, రైట్, ఆ atom ని ఏ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో ఆర్ at what distance that you will be able to find that electron, that will be like, we can say, the probability of finding of the electron, let us say the probability of the electrons that we can find in some particular point of time or at particular point of distance. Then we say that the probability of electron is nothing but, or we say the probability of electron is proportional to the, that is the wave function that we have, the square of the wave function. So the probability of finding an electron at some particular point of time and at particular place is nothing but is proportional to the psi square. So here we know that psi is nothing but the wave function, and psi square will give us the probability of the electron. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we cannot locate the wave, or we say the electron at a particular point, same as the momentum, speed, and the location that we cannot find out, right? So for that we have the probability. Okay, we cannot give the exact values, exact place, but we can find out the probability or approximate place where we can find the most number of electrons, that is by the square of the psi function. So whatever this psi square that we have, right? So this value, this psi square value is giving us the atomic orbital. It is giving us the atomic orbital. So we are naming this value, means at what place the probability of finding of this electron is the maximum. Okay, at that point, right, which is saying that I can take this as the 90% of the electrons, right, 90% of the electrons, that the probability of finding an electrons, the 90% of the probability of finding an electrons at that point will give us the atomic orbital, will give us the atomic orbital. So this atomic orbital, if you can take that atomic orbital, that is psi square right here. So this atomic orbital is giving us the probability of the finding of the electrons, right? So this atomic orbital, whatever that we are saying, that psi square here, right? So that is of only for the hydrogen atom, hydrogen and the hydrogen like atoms, hydrogen like atoms. Okay, so here we said that whatever the probability of finding of electron, that will be proportional to the psi square. Psi is nothing but the wave function, so the function square is giving us the energy, or we say the probability of finding the electrons. So at what place the most number of the electrons are there, right? There is a probability that at that particular point of place that will be having the most number of electrons, that will give us the atomic orbital. So what is this atomic orbital? Atomic orbital that we have discussed in the previous lecture, that is nothing but the electrons in which path, or the path followed by this electron, is nothing but the orbital, right? Simply we can say that the number of, or we say all the particles, all the electrons that will be following a path, that fixed path, that is nothing but the atomic orbital. Okay, so this is only for the hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms, right? So this equation, Schrodinger equation, is not, right, applicable for the multi electron atoms, or we say other than the hydrogen atoms, multi electronic atoms, the atoms which are having more than one electron, right? For that this is not applicable. Why? Because these electrons, right, whatever the electrons that we are saying for the hydrogen, helium, neon, krypton, right? So these all the atoms, or all the helium, right, after hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, these are all having the more number of electrons in it. So the electrons will have the, right, electrons will have the more energy, right? So the more energy will be there. సో ఈ ఎనర్జీ అనేది ఎక్కువ ఎనర్జీ ఎక్కడ లొకేట్ అయి ఉంటుంది, దట్ వీ కెన్ నాట్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ బై యూజింగ్ సింప్లీ దిస్ ఈక్వేషన్, right? So that's why this is not applicable for the multi electronic atoms, right? So these electrons are more energy having, right? So that for that reason this is not applicable here, and we say that, so in this equation the energy levels are depending on the number of electrons, and the wave function that we are saying, that will only give us, like we say that energy level, right? So this energy level is giving us the, whatever the energy level, that is nothing but the of electrons that we are getting, and whatever the wave function that we have, right? So this wave function is nothing but giving us the coordinates of the electrons, right? Coordinate means at what place that we will be able to find out the most number of the electrons, that is what the probability that we are getting, that is nothing but the coordinates of the electrons, coordinates of the electrons. So by these multi-electronic atoms, we are not able to use this Schrodinger equation, right? So here we can use this, or we can apply this Schrodinger equation for this multi-electronic atoms, that is by approximating approximating the energies. Approximating the energies, we can find out, or we can use this Schrodinger equation to find the atomic orbitals of the multi-atomic level atoms. So here we are saying that approximating energies. So this all the atoms, okay, all the atoms don't have the, or we say have the same basic or the fundamental structure here. They are not different, right? All the atoms, right, have the, or we say are not fundamentally different. All the atoms are not fundamentally different. They are just different in case of, we say, the energy of the nucleus. Because of the nucleus energy, what happens? These atoms get contracted because the nucleus will have more energy, because of, as the atomic number increases, right, number of neutrons and the protons increases. So as the neutrons and protons are having positive energy, so they will be attracting more electrons towards it. Because of that, the nucleus will be attracting them and the size of the electrons will be contracted. So the atoms will be contracted. Atoms will be contracted. So by that we can say that all the atoms are fundamentally same. Means if you take the multi-electronic atoms or the single electronic atom like hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms, this Schrodinger equation can be utilized by approximating the energies of this multi-electronic atoms, right? So these are all same, and the nucleus of energy, depending on that only the size of the atom will be contracted here. Okay, so whatever the hydrogen atom energies are, we are saying, right? So for the hydrogen atom, to explain the hydrogen atom or the hydrogen structure, right, in previous that we have discussed, right, what is that? We need these quantum numbers to explain the specific values, energy levels and the wave natures, right? So for hydrogen atom, to explain the atomic structure of the hydrogen atom, we can only use, or we need only the principal quantum number. Okay, principal quantum number. For the other elements, right, we use n and l, principal quantum number and the azimuthal quantum number. So these two quantum numbers are very important to explain these energy levels and the wave function, or we say the coordinates of the electrons, where the electrons are located in that atom. That can be found by these two quantum numbers here. Okay, so this is about the Schrodinger's equation. So after this Schrodinger equation that we have just discussed, what are the important features of this quantum mechanical model, right? Because we have previously discussed the uncertainty principle of the Heisenberg, right? And just now we have discussed the Schrodinger's equation, right, of hydrogen atom also we have discussed. So let us see that important features of quantum mechanical model, right? So important features of the quantum mechanical models in that. So if you can see that whatever the quantum mechanical model that we have, right, so that model is nothing but the structural picture of the atom. Structural picture of the atom, right? And the structural picture of the atom is emerged or has been derived from the Schrodinger's equation. Solution of the Schrodinger's equation means if you can apply the Schrodinger equation to an atom, then you can find this structural picture of the atom. That is application of Schrodinger equation. Okay, Now, let us see what are the main features that we'll be getting by applying this Schrodinger equation into the atom. So the first one is nothing but the energy in electrons in an atom is quantized. Quantized means what? Just now I said that quantized is having a specific value. So we are applying a specific value, or we are able to get the specific value of the energy. The energy in electrons in atom is quantized, that is having a specific value, where you can find out what are the energy levels or what are the energies possessed by those atoms or the molecules. Like if you can say the electrons in an atom, right? In a atom that you can find out here. Okay, so the energy in an electron in an atom is quantized. It is having a specific value. So this is about the first important feature of this quantum mechanical model. Second one is this quantized electronic energy levels. So whatever the energy of electrons is quantized, right? So that quantized energy is having this electronic energy levels that we have discussed, right? So these energy levels means at particular place, right? The electrons having the, or we say the probability of the most number of electrons. Probability of most number of electrons that will be forming the energy levels, right? Means there are more number of electrons. So we are calling it as the energy level. So these are the fixed energy levels that we can, or we say approximated energy levels that we can find out here. Energy levels in the atoms. Okay, so next is the third feature is that nothing but the uncertainty principle. What is that? Exact position and velocity of an electron cannot be determined simultaneously. That is nothing but the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, where we can say that the electrons, whatever the position, if we have the energy levels and the velocity, in that energy level we cannot find the velocity at same point and at same time, but if we can have the approximated energy level, right, at this line or in this position, that is nothing but the probability. There is a probability, right, in this nucleus, right? So there is a probability that the electrons, most of the electrons will be following or will be found in this region. The most probability is here, so that we can use here, that is nothing but the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. That is one of the feature of this quantum mechanical model, right? Next one is an atomic orbital wave function psi represent the state of an electron in an atom. Means state of an electron that we have previously, that we have discussed. What is that? That it has a wave function that is represent the coordinates of the electrons, right? So these coordinates of the electron means where or what is the state of an electron, that can be explained by this. So this atomic orbital wave function, right, it gives us the state of an atom. So this atomic orbital wave function, right, this wave function, okay, so this wave function helping us to give the structure of the atom, or we say the basis for the structure of this atom, basis for the structure of the atom. How? Means where the atoms are, where the electrons are located in that atom will give us what is the structure of that atom. Yes or no? Means if I say this is my nucleus and I am saying that these are my electrons which are located like this in this fashion, okay, then what is the structure of this atom? So then I can suppose that, okay, the most of the electrons are here, this most of the electrons are here located like this in this fashion. So I can give a approximated structure like this. So I can say that, okay, the electron or this atom is having in a circular shape like this, right? So that is the basic structure, basis for the structure of this atom. That is nothing but the wave function. That is, what is that wave function? That is the psi here, right? So this wave function has only 2 electrons in it. Only 2 electrons. This wave function has only 2 electrons in it, which means each and every atomic orbital wave function which has atomic orbital, mean each orbital you have only 2 electrons, right? So this each atomic orbital wave function, for each and every electrons it has multiple, for the other atoms than hydrogen, right? It has more energy, or we say more orbitals, right? There are more orbitals because of the increase in the electrons. So as the electrons are increasing, what happens? Every 2 electrons will have one wave function, right? So these have one specific energy, right? Which has this specific energy, specific energy levels for each wave function, right? So that will give us the more number of energy levels, that is the more atomic orbital wave functions which has more orbitals, right? So what happens here? So this orbital's energy, right? The energy in this orbital, right? Orbital energy will be increasing, right? From as the atomic number increases, as the atomic number increases. So this orbital energy means each and every orbital, if I say this is my nucleus, so this is first orbital, so it will be having some energy which is, let us say, energy 1, right? Another orbital that will be in this fashion and that will be having a energy 2, right? Another orbital in this fashion that will be having a energy 3. Means increasing energy, or we say increasing order of the energy, that is E3 is greater than E2 and it is greater than E1. Like this, in this fashion the energy, orbital energy will be having by these atoms. Okay, so we know that by this orbital energy we are saying that orbital wave function. So what is that? Orbital wave function means each and every electron will have a separate wave function, means each and every orbit will have a separate wave function, and that wave functions are called as the orbital wave function. So this orbital wave function will give us all the information, about the electron, all information of electrons, how each and every electron is located and what are the energies of this electron, that all the information will be possessed by this orbital wave function. Okay, so this is about the fourth feature of the quantum mechanical model. Next one is the probability density. So probability density, what is that? So the probability density is nothing but the, what is the probability to find an electron, right, at a point, right, within an atom, which is proportional to the square of the wave function psi. So let us that probability density. What is that? Probability of finding an electron, okay, finding an electron at a point, right, within an atom, right, in an atom, right, is proportional to right, is proportional to the square of the wave function psi, square of the wave function psi. Okay, so this is what the probability density that we are calling. What is the probability density? That is nothing but this is our probability density. Psi square is a probability density, which means how many or at what point of place or at what place after the nucleus. So this is our nucleus here. So here if you can see at what place that you are able to find out the maximum number of electrons, maximum number of electrons, that is probability density. Means more number of electrons are there, means the density of the electrons at that particular point is more. So that I just explained in the previous part of this lecture. I explained that where we have them, where we are considering the 90% of the electrons. Avuna 90% of ante minimum 90% of the electrons ekkadaithe untayo aa part ni aa place ni we are calling it as the probability or the density of probability density of the electrons. So that will be proportional to, so where we have the most probable or the 90% of the electrons, that will be nothing but the psi square is our probability density here. Okay, so this probability density, that is psi square, is always positive. It is always positive, always positive. Okay, and whatever the psi square value that we are getting here, okay, by using that we can predict, okay, we can predict the location of, what is that, location of the most number of electrons, most number of electrons. అంతే కదా, డెన్సిటీ ఎక్కువ ఉందంటే అక్కడ ఎక్కువ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో బై యూజింగ్ this psi square we can predict that location of the most of the electrons of the particular atom here. So wherever, okay, wherever we are able to find the most number of electrons are nothing but the probability density, that is, let us say this, wherever we are able to find out, wherever we are able to find out the most number of electrons, most number of electrons, ఎక్కడైతే మోస్ట్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ మనం ఫైండ్ చేయగలమో ఆ పాయింట్ని, ఆ ప్లేస్ని వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ది ఆర్బిటాల్స్. ఆర్బిటాల్స్. సో ఇక్కడి వరకు you should have understood that by using the uncertainty principle, we said that we cannot locate the electron as well as the energy of that electron, or we say what is the velocity of the electron and the location of the electron simultaneously we cannot find out. That is what we have concluded from the one part of the quantum mechanics. Second part is by using the Schrodinger equation, now we are able to find out the location of the most number of electrons that are located in the atom. That is called as the orbitals. So the orbitals, we say that, so we have came into the conclusion where will be the most number of electrons, that are nothing but the orbitals, means where we'll be able to find out, or where are these orbitals located, that can be find out by using the quantum mechanical model. That is importantly we can say by using the psi function, that is nothing but the wave function that is given by the Schrodinger equation. Avuna? So orbitals are found from the Schrodinger equation. Uncertainty principle valla manaki em telisindi, energy and the, because of the energy is nothing but the, what is the momentum, what is the momentum is nothing but the velocity of, means how much speed that electron is having and where it is located, that simultaneously that we cannot find out, right? So simultaneous ga manam కనుగొనలేకపోతున్నాం కాబట్టి అప్రాక్సిమేట్ ప్లేస్ ఎక్కడ, అప్రాక్సిమేట్లీ ఆ పర్టికులర్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ ఎనర్జీ ఉన్న ఎలక్ట్రాన్ అనేది ఏ ప్లేస్లో ఉండగలదు అనేది ఆ అప్రాక్సిమేట్ ప్లేస్. ఓకే, ద అప్రాక్సిమేట్ ప్లేస్, ఓకే, అప్రాక్సిమేట్ ప్లేస్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్, approximate place of the electron with quantized energy, with quantized energy. That is nothing but our orbital. Simple ga gurtupeట్టుకోండి ఇది. So by using this quantum mechanical model, we were able to use the approximate place of electron and with the quantized energy. Ante quantized energy adi kuda, like we are not saying that energy is fixed value energy. We are saying that quantized means we are giving a specific value of this, right? Depending on the most number of the electrons and most number of the places where we can able to find out. So our number of electrons, what electrons kuna energy ni we are approximating or we are quantizing it, and that energy where we can find out that quantized energy, that is we are calling as the orbital. So now we can conclude by the quantum mechanical model that around the nucleus, okay, nucleus ki చుట్టూరుగా, రైట్, చుట్టూరా మనము ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ని ఒక స్పెసిఫిక్ డిస్టెన్స్ లో, ఓకే, బై ది బోర్ మోడల్ దట్ వీ హావ్ డిస్కస్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ బోర్ మోడల్? హీ హాస్ even given the Bohr radius, right? Bohr radius 0.53 angstrom units, right? So at particular distance we have the electrons located, okay, at particular distance we have the most number of electrons located. So we know that if we take the hydrogen atom, what happened in hydrogen atom? We have only one electron. So this is our hydrogen nucleus. So we have only one electron here, okay, this is our one electron here. So what is the distance, or at what place the electron is located? That is nothing but here 0.53 angstrom units. Avuna? So that rule is able to, or we say that point can also be explained by this quantum mechanical model. Ardhamaitunda? So ikkada, but whatever the quantum mechanical model that we are talking, to locate whatever the atoms that we have or whatever the molecules that we have other than the hydrogen, by approximating the energies here, okay, first hydrogen atom ki we can use that same thing, whatever the orbitals, whatever the Bohr explained, everything can be explained, right? We know that one of the drawbacks of the Bohr's model is nothing but he were able to give the location or the properties of the one electron which is possessed by the hydrogen, but he was not able to explain the electron locations or the what we say the structure of the electronic configuration of the atoms which are helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, which has more than one electron, right? So that to explain the structure of these atoms atoms, right, electronic configuration of the other atoms, we can use the approximated places and the quantizing energy, approximated places, okay, or we say the probable place, or we say the probable place, okay. So this is about the quantum mechanical model. Next we have the few examples which you have got in the previous exams of this MSET. What is that? So the basis of quantum mechanical model of an atom is what? What is the basis of the quantum mechanical model? I think I have explained you in this lecture previously. So if you can pause it and answer this one, that will be good. So first option is angular momentum of electron, quantum numbers, black body radiation, dual nature of electrons here. So in these four options, if you can just recall it, the main important basis for the quantum mechanical model is nothing but the dual nature of the electron. So dual nature of the electron means in that particle nature, that we know that particle nature, because of that the electrons are able to rotate, and the nucleus and electrons have the repulsive forces and attractive forces, because of that they are able to be stable, okay, that was fine. But in the later developments we have able to explain the dual nature of electrons, that is nothing but the wave function that we have found, that is given by the Schrodinger, and that helped us the basis for the, that is nothing but the wave function. Avuna? Wave function valla dan dwara we were able to explain the orbitals, yes. So because of that, that will be our basis for the quantum mechanical model of the atom. So second question, which one of the following coordination conditions is incorrect for the well behaved wave function psi? So this exam was asked in the MSET 2010, okay. So if you can see the options, psi must be finite, means psi value should have a definite value, means there should be some fixed value or some approximated value should be there, and psi must be single valued. Psi will be single value, means this psi value should not be 2 or 3 values, like we have the if we have any square root, we have plus and minus values, right? Like that, the psi value must have one single value, and psi value must be infinite, means psi value must be infinite. The psi value has to be very large, means the psi value must contain all the values, and the psi value must be of continuous. Psi value must be continuous, means what is saying, the continuous means if we have the nucleus here, and these are our orbitals, right? So if these orbitals are there, psi values are nothing but the probability of finding the number of electrons. So that should be continuous. Continuous means if you are able to find out the electrons here, again you have to find out electrons here, these electrons here, means there should be a continuity in the increase of the probability and increase of the number of electrons that can be found in the number of orbitals, that we can simply say. So out of these 4 options, if you can observe that these electrons, right, the psi value must be finite here, and here finite, and here is infinite. So these two cannot be true, only one has to be true, right? Means incorrect. He is asking about the incorrect option. So for that, finite value means there should be some fixed value, or say some approximated value, then only we are able to find the orbitals, right? So by that assumption, by that result, we can say the psi value must be infinite. That answer should be wrong. So the option for the incorrect option for this psi value, that is option C, is our answer here, because he asked us the incorrect option, right? The value should be finite and must be single valued, and it should be continuous. If it is single valued, it is finite, right? And it is continuous means there should be continuity in the increase of the energies, that we have explained in the previous part also. Okay, so these are the 2 example problems that we can see in this chapter that we have asked in the previous exams. Okay, so today's quote here, if you can see that by famous, our one of the greatest scientists and the human being of our Indian, right, soil, that we can take APJ Abdul Kalam. So his famous quote here, if you fail, never give up, because fail means first attempt in learning. Okay, so remember this. So try to learn everything, right? That's why we say keep studying and happy learning. So if you are learning with happiness, so if you fail at one point of time, you should convince yourself and to others that is our first attempt in learning. So every attempt, whenever you are failing, so that is one of your learning process. So you are still in a learning process. So whenever you get success, that is of your all the steps, the failure steps that you have made, right? So these are all the failure steps. You may have failed at this point, right, in one particular subject, in one particular chapter. So that will again, if you go into this place, another step. So completing one chapter, another chapter, another chapter. So ultimately that will help you in your achieving your best rank in this exam. So I hope you are utilizing our lectures here, everybody. So complete your DPPs, okay, and try to complete your previous year questions. And if you have any doubts, mail to our email ID sadak@gmail.com, right? I love you. Today, this is our today's class. Thank you so much.